Welcome back, everyone. Give 100 back with another video for you guys today. And today, we're doing All For One, but this is the villain AU. I just got done posting the hero AU, but now it's time for the villain AU. And I actually saw you guys that, you guys wanted me to, what was it? Oh yeah. Well, one of the users wanted me to post Beyblade Part 2. What if I was in Beyblade Part 2? So, I'm gonna have to get those videos out, but also guys, I'm starting to do gameplay videos now. I got my PS5 set up with my YouTube account, so now I'll be able to do some gameplay videos. So on the channel, go right now to the community post. Like, go to my channel and go to community, and I will have a poll of what games you guys can choose for me to play, and I will live stream it and play it for you guys. That way, you guys get to choose what games I do for the weekend. Because you know what? For the weekend, you guys are gonna get gameplay videos or podcast, whatever the heck. We're just gonna do some We're gonna do some gameplays because I know you guys are probably tired of seeing what ifs and you guys want to see games back on my channel. So for that, if you guys can tune in for the live stream, I really don't know what I'm gonna be doing, but I'll just go to the community post right now and just click a game. That way I can play it either this weekend or next weekend. I don't know when I feel like getting around to it. But I know it's one of the weekends where I choose to start playing it. Hopefully I can get my best friend in on it, so that way, because Minecraft is going to be one of the choices, and if you guys pick that, I'll ask him, can he like try to play it with me if he's up for it, or we can just do a solo game, one of the two. But that's not what you guys are here for. Anyway, let's get to the story. I'm already wasting like 2 minutes of this. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Cue the intro. Okay, everyone. So we would pick up the story when All For One had grabbed Kid Deku and took him through a dark portal. Basically, one of his clones had kind of put Deku to sleep, and he's back in his room with the doctor, smiling an evil grin, because now he has his boy in his hands, and now there are no distractions to keep him from the path he's going to put him on. So we cut to like sometime later when Izuku wakes up in a bed. And he comes out the door, he sees another bed right next to, well, not right next to him, but across the room, and there's another boy sleeping in that bed. This boy has like blue or grayish hair, and like he's cradled up in a fetal position, and basically he's still haunted. As basically Deku comes out of the room, and the doctor welcomes him. Ah, welcome, young Master Izuku. Your father is waiting for you outside the door. Well, go on. Don't worry about me. I'm just a humble worker for your father. So basically, Deku walks to the door, and All For One was waiting for him there. Ah, Izuku, you're awake. Dad, what's going on? Well, Izuku, I brought you back to a house, a facility, if you mind. I'm going to be raising you and taking care of you here. So it wasn't a dream? No, Izuku. Sadly, your mother, Inko had passed away in the fire. But don't worry, I'll take care of you, son. I'll raise you the best way I can. But there is something you must understand, Izuku. The heroes had failed to save your mother. They all failed. They didn't even try. All they saw was a burning building, and they had left all those people there. What? See for yourself. As All For One pulls up the video feedback of how every hero says they helped everyone they could, but none of them even tried to go into the building where Inko was in to help her. You see, Izuku? We were the only two in there trying to help her. And yet, they did nothing but sat there and watched. The heroes failed you. Society failed you. And worst of All Might failed you. And this was the starting point of Izuku's hatred for all heroes. And Deku said he hated heroes. They're the reason he lost his mom. Don't worry, Izuku. I will help you on your quest. We're going to do so many great things together. As finally young Tenko Shimura comes out. Master? What? Izuku, I want you to meet someone. His name is Tenko Shimura. He's going to be your brother. But he prefers not to be called that. He wants to be called Tomura Shigaraki. As Deku just says hi to Shigaraki. Shigaraki's older than Deku. Shigaraki's like 21, 22? Wait, no, Shigaraki's like 20 in the main story. So Deku is like 5 at this point, and Shigaraki's like 10. Yeah. Deku's 5 and Shigaraki's like 10. So yeah, like 5 years older than Deku. So, alright. He's going to be your older brother. But Shigaraki just says hi to Deku because he doesn't have family. Because his family betrayed him. As basically All For One just starts to nurture Izuku in his ways. You see, Izuku, not all villains are bad people. Just misguided and let down by society. What I plan to do is to reshape society into the world that I see, where there shouldn't be any racism against mutants. There shouldn't be discrimination because you have a weak quirk or a strong one, or even if you have no quirk at all. Will you help me change that, Izuku? As Deku looks up at his father and the red eyes come out. Yeah, I'll help you. And for Mom, of course, my son, of course. But for that, you're going to have to use your quirk. And I mean a lot. As now we can cut to a bit of a time skip, actually. So his master plan would start being set into action. All For One would start to nurture Izuku in his way, teaching him everything he needs to know about being All For One, about using the power of All For One. And most of all, how to take over. Because he's definitely too old and out of his prime for it. But Izuku is in the tip-top shape of his life. So, he started teaching Izuku everything he needed to know about it, and how to conquer the world, and best of all, how to be him. Sometime we cut to a little while later, and Izuku has taken a truckload of quirks over time. Uncontrollable villains like Muscular and I'm trying to see other small time villains. I don't really know right now. But Deku is a tactical type of villain. He does make comrades wherever he can, but he's tactical with it if he's going to betray them. This is very great on All For One's part because he doesn't even have to make much effort. He puts all of his effort into Izuku. He does spend some time with Shigaraki to nurture him as well, but Izuku's just way too perfect of a specimen to actually enact his plan. But all for one, he can tell. Izuku philosophizes. That's not even philosophize. That's not even a word, probably. But you know what I'm just gonna say. He philosophizes everything All For One says, while Shigaraki is just an uncontrollable mess. He's thinking whether he should just kill Shigaraki at this point and just put it on Izuku. but who knows? That they can probably be a useful force in the future, so he decides against it for now. But the Nomu experimentations, Izuku kind of helps on his outlook when he sees them. They're just piloting dead corpses, but what if they start to use live test subjects for their specimens? Some of them still having sapience, but at the same time, make more advanced people like Kurogiri. Now this is something to be discovered on. Jesus Christ. But still, Izuku shares his hatred of All Might with Shigaraki, but, well, it's even worse. It's on the level of All For One type of hatred, because All For One finally revealed what All Might did to him, and there's been no quirk known to man that can actually satisfy or that can restore him to his former glory. And Izuku says not even the best healing quirks, none in the world that they know of can help. Dang. And that's ridiculous. But All For One just has a plan. Like, and what's that? Their UA trader. Basically, they already have a trader inside of UA. But All For One needs an insurance policy that he'll keep in check. Yes, his family is under their rule, but he's not sure he is. So what is Izuku's plan? Since Izuku isn't known by any of the heroes as villains at all, he wants Izuku to go undercover inside of UA. To be basically an inside person. He's old enough. He's gotten all the educations forged. Well, I mean, it's not forged because Izuku still kept going to school. Naturally. All For One, his dad just kept taking him there. So Izuku is going to go undercover as basically as basically a UA trader on the inside to keep their UA trader basically under control, to make sure he won't fall or falter in their plan. And that's going to be on Izuku's part. He's going to play the hero. And their all-time goal is to find out which person has one for all. But he All For One tells his son not to worry. He's always there with him, as he gives Izuku a quirk. Well, multiple quirks now. As now Izuku has a heightened senses quirk. To the point where he can hear a lot of conversations going on at once. Now, from his sources all over Japan, he hasn't really seen much of All Might. But Izuku knows of All Might's true state in weakened form. But he has a plan to make Izuku the next successor to One For All, to play the hero until the time comes to betray them all. That everything was a lie from the beginning. And Izuku is foolproof with this plan. How is it going to work? Simple. Izuku is going to pretend to be quirkless to All Might. And no one is ever going to know. Okay, so, with this situation, it does go into plan. Izuku's last day of high school does play out normal in the anime because everyone says he's because he tells people that he's quirkless. And Bakugo, being a kid, just thought that Izuku made up a story that somebody used their quirk on him, and it was like kind of a temporary solution that he was lying to the people. Like, wow, you need other people to help you to actually think you're useful? Ha! It was foolish of me to ever think you could be something. And this is Deku's like killer instinct coming in. So, all this happens, the high school era happens like normal. Izuku pretends to be quirkless, but when the sludge villain comes up, he's about to take its quirk, but then All Might pops up in the flesh. Deku has to act like a shy boy, timid in everything. So, but Deku wants to ask All Might that still question. Even if I'm quirkless, can I ever hope to be someone like you? And All Might still said no and everything else on that situation. So even while trying to go back to the villain base, Deku decides to visit his old apartment complex because he wants to see where last time he saw his mom. But then he saw Bakugo inside the sludge villain and he saw Mini All Might. This was his chance to prove himself. As Deku, out of nowhere, just rushed toward the slime villain and everything went normal. Guess not. And then the plan worked perfectly. All Might chose Izuku to become his next successor. As Deku started crying like, young man, you too can become a hero. As you know, he pulls the classic anime Deku crying moment here, but behind that facade is a devilish grin who's laughing on the inside saying, you fool, you fell directly for the plan. I deem you worthy, young man. My quirk is yours to inherit. As Deku starts to act confused and everything, and he starts to nerd out like normal. Because he wants to make him less conspicuous as possible. And All Might starts to tell him he was a real hero as he starts to cry again. You gotta stop the waterworks. Deku has to convince All Might for real that he has no idea, and he's just a good person. But, okay, when he sees Deku's body, of course, Deku himself is actually very skinny. Unlike So, but Deku is like a full-grown adult. He's a 7'4" grown man, and he's kind of lean. He's skinny lean. What the hell? So All Might says he has a lot to work with. So with this situation going on, craziest thing is Deku still does that 1 year workout routine that he still does. But All For One tells him that One For All is a stockpiling quirk that stockpiles energy. So the backlash could easily kill you. I mean, well, All Might tells him that too. But All For One says that it is true. The backlash of the repercussions of the quirk could be extremely fatal. But that's why I've given you a quirk to be able to handle backlash. Now this is going to be great. So at the end of the year, when All Might does give him the quirk, All For One just says perfect. Now Izuku really is the perfect being. Dang, it's already been 15 minutes? Wow, okay. So it's time for the entrance exam. Let's do this. So whenever that does happen, Deku goes to the entrance exam and he starts using One For All. But he doesn't exactly know how to do it because All Might never taught him how. Dang it. Yeah, All Might never taught him how to properly use it. So Deku is just going and just punching the robots left and right with 100% power. And he is breaking his bones. And All For One, yeah, says it is bad, but it's what he has to go with. But so we get like kind of season 2, like sports festival Deku in here, who's still breaking his bones, but doesn't know what to do yet. And then the 0-pointer thing happens like normal, and Deku still gets in because he did get hero points and he got a lot of rescue points. So All Might apologized for not teaching Deku how to use the power and just leaving him to figure it out on his own. So he calls Gran Torino very early. Very, very early. We get to meet him earlier in the story than we usually do. And All For One gets mad at Gran Torino as he's the guy who helped Nana Shimura, who got All Might away before anything else could happen. So, with that being said, oh, this is going to be fun. So, Gran Torino gets called earlier on, and he tells Deku to not exactly just focus the power on that, but to surge it around his entire body, to just put it everywhere. And this gave Deku his full cowling earlier in the story, which is great, actually. So now this is exactly what he needed. Oh man, but the One For All users have no idea of the dark personification behind it. And no, I know what you guys are going to say. Can't they see into his memories or anything? No. All For One had put a lock on everything so they can only see like Deku's pure side and the memories of back then. Deku's All For One side can only be unlocked like when All For One removes the limiter he kind of put on Deku's like brain and shit like that. Just because he knows the One For All user stockpiles the next user's quirk, so he doesn't want any of Deku's other quirks to be stockpiled with One For All. So he had to lock that aspect of it away, and they're gonna have to experiment on that quirk later as well. So as of right now, it's gonna be like the One For All users. They're like seeing it through a TV screen. So whenever Deku does like villainy or acts, it's like the TV is turned off. But whenever his normal life is, being shown in UA, it's turned back on. So the betrayal thing will work out much more insane than it will in the usual story. Oh, this is gonna be so great. All right, so we're moving on with the situation here. The next thing that happens is that Deku gets into UA. He meets the rest of Class 1A, and All For One tells him who the UA traitor is, and he says Aoyama should be aware. Yeah, if you guys aren't aware at this point, I mean, you guys should be at this point in time. But if you guys aren't, the UA traitor is Aoyama, which is crazy because I thought it would either be Hagakure or, crazy enough, Monoma or Kaminari. Yeah, it's just weird. I actually thought that it would be. Alright, let's continue. So Deku walks up to Aoyama, and he gives him a nod, and Aoyama nods back, and Deku pats him on the shoulder. Calm down, buddy. We're both on the same side here, aren't we? As Aoyama nods and says, good. Now don't try anything stupid here, because you know what's going to happen. We've got tabs on your entire family. So if you dare even think about it, I will be there to put you in check. As Deku gives Aoyama puts a limiting quirk on Aoyama to now where he can't do anything about it. Now, as Deku shows a red and black like chains around Aoyama because everybody's trying to get to know each other right now, so nobody sees it. I've got my eye on you. So be an obedient dog and listen to what we say. As Deku tightens his grip on the chains. Got it? As Aoyama just nods. Good. As he lets go of the, as he walks away with, as he makes the chain invisible as he walks away with it. Aoyama just now realized what he really got himself into. This ain't good. So, anyway, with the situation here, Aizawa does come in and put them through that same quirk training test. And since Deku was like full cowling earlier on, he's gotten the hang of it. I know it's only been like 3 weeks, but you can get a lot done in 3 weeks. He starts using his quirk, and Aizawa does erase it at the ball throw and says, with your power, you can never become a hero. Like, my father was right about you fakers. You're all nothing but assholes. As Deku does give a glare to Aizawa, and when he uses One for All again, he throws it into space and he gets infinity. Like, and he looks back at Aizawa with a devilish grin, saying, and he was like, I'm sorry, you were saying? Like, whatever. And Aizawa just says, this kid doesn't, what, this kid's an idiot. Either way, he doesn't belong here. It's kind of stupid to think Aizawa like, immediately just underestimated Deku, and he just showed off just like that. This revenge. That's why I like revenge, guys. It's amazing. I just like it. It's so great. Okay. Anyway, moving on with that situation. Let's keep going forward. So, the next best thing. I don't like the bomb training, so we're gonna have to go to the USJ now. All right. So, wait, now we're gonna have to do the bomb training because I know, guys, I don't really like doing it, but this is the only point where Deku can scout out useful quirks. Because he has a quirk called Scanner, and it scans the people's quirks, and Deku can see how useful it can be. I mean, all quirks can be useful to him, but hey, he wants to know. He wants to see it. So, with that being said, I'm not really going to specify the teams. It doesn't really matter. Just know Deku's team wins, whether he's on the hero or the villain's team. And Deku sees everyone else's quirks, and he sees how useful they can be. He's contemplating upon taking Bakugo's quirk again, which All For One says would be an amazing addition to his quirk factor, but not yet. They have to wait until they have all of the villains and people ready for it. Okay, fine. And you guys know which arc I'm talking about near the end game for this to be done. So, with that being said, now we can move on to the USJ. Deku still wears a black suit, and they would wonder why does he want a suit. Deku just says, he likes the even All Might and Nezu and Gran Torino would ask why would he do that. Deku just said he doesn't really want a flashy costume or everything. He wants things to be simple. So with stuff like this, he appreciates the smaller things in life. So honestly, having something more iconic than just a flashy suit, aka a literal business suit, he thinks he can make more of a mark on the Hero Society on it. Like, they don't understand, but Deku just says, that's the point. I stick out like a sore thumb because I don't have anything flashy. You see the bigger picture? The greatness and the simplicity. Nezu can kinda see it, so they allow it, but they have no idea what really is behind that suit. It's just ridiculous, to be honest with you. Alright, USJ time. Deku lets Aoyama gives them Aoyama gives them the information, and Deku gives them the information on the students and who's going to be there. As All For One obviously listens in. 13, All Might, and this time Aizawa is there, so he knows Eraserhead. So he brings a lot more mutants along with him that Aizawa can't really erase the quirks of, to make it a lot harder. But Deku still has to fight. So whenever Shigaraki and the other small-time villains come in, Deku just says, he has to put on a show. Well, alright, Shigaraki. Wait, nah, alright, brother. Let's put on a show, shall we? So Shigaraki just says, only harm, do not kill anybody, or neither seriously injure anyone. They have to put on a show for the heroes here. So whenever Aizawa does come down and start wreaking havoc on the things, the villains are able to beat on him a lot easier, but they're jumping him. They're not really trying to seriously hinder him as of right now. Not yet. So Kurogiri still teleports everyone all over the place, and Deku still saves Tsu and Mineta. Kind of got to get that situation on. But then Deku does come in to try to stop the Nomu, And then the Nomu does grab Deku. So Deku does put on that One For All show to try to stop him, as Aizawa tells him to stop. And Deku just said, Mr. Aizawa, getting involved when you don't need to is the essence of being a hero. As when the Nomu is about to punch Deku, or crush or break his arm, All Might comes in, and now it's All Might versus the Nomu fight. So this time Deku does stop Kurogiri and Shigaraki, but he gently what All Might sees is Deku punching Shigaraki and Kurogiri away. But in reality, we look in slow motion, and Deku is stopping his fist right before actually punching them. So it's like just a gust of air pushing them away. So this is actually pretty cool. Deku's just putting on a show for them. So, but they're not really going to pick up on that. So Deku does help All Might, and All Might does end up defeating the Nomu. But thankfully, Deku touched the Nomu, and All For One Deku was able to put like a coordinates type of quirk on the Nomu, so they could actually get the big Nomu back. So dang, small time villains got defeated, but that wasn't their main issue. Maybe they could have killed All Might here, but hey, this was their greatest thing. So Deku can see All Might, is weakening day by day, and Deku can only get stronger. Heh, this is amazing. All For One said they could attack right now with their army of Nomus, but Deku says no, they have to be ready, because they still got heroes like Endeavor and Hawks. Well, because Deku doesn't know Hawks' true motives. They still have the top heroes to deal with, and just one Nomu isn't enough. We need a whole bunch of them to start this war. All right, my son, I trust your judgment. As the next thing would be the USJ, but god dang, guys, I don't think I have time. I only got like 4 minutes left. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go through it anyway. Let's do this. Time for the sports festival. I said USJ before. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. Would be the sports festival. Okay, so as we get to that, Todoroki says he tells Midori that he thinks he's better. As Deku does a motivational speech, says I'll be aiming for the top 2, but on the inside he's like, shut up, you fucking hero scum! You can't do a damn thing to me. All it would take is one touch, and then I would instantly defeat you. Because Deku has a quirk called Quirk Nullifier. By touching someone directly, he can instantly nullify their quirk. And they can't use their quirk either. That gives it automatic sense for Deku to be able to take the quirk from the person, because now you can't use it, and Deku can easily steal it from you, because now you have no way of defending yourself. So, first things first is a race like normal. Deku, using One For All, he would blitz past everyone. Like the 0-pointers, he doesn't bother, he just slides under them. But the platform, he just jumps from platform to platform, kind of like a ninja. And as for the mines, he would do that same plan as he did in the actual anime, because he's smart like that. Next would be the cavalry battle. Now we don't have a need for an Olympics type stuff, because Deku's kind of on the same playing field with everyone. But I'm gonna say Deku still gets his team like normal, because not many people do have confidence in him because the 10 million headband. Okay, anyway, but Deku actually does manage to keep the 10 million headband for the 15 minutes, keeping his team first place. Team Todoroki second place, Team Bakugo third place. It doesn't matter who's fourth place. Just know that we're moving on. Alright, so now for the one-on-one fights that you guys have been waiting for. Deku versus Shinso. This is not fair. Deku would just walk up and just gut check Shinso as he would knock him out of the ring. Now it's Deku versus Todoroki. The interesting fights can happen. So as they would begin, Deku would start using the would flick his fingers like in the actual anime to start knocking Todoroki's ice away. But they're a lot more powerful than usual, but this time Deku doesn't actually break his fingers. He's in control of his quirk of One For All, because he can handle 100% of the power, and All Might can see that. Like, good. I chose good with this boy. As Deku flicks away the ice, and he doesn't actually help Todoroki, because that's not his thing. The point here is that everyone wants to win. So Deku runs up to Todoroki while breaking the ice and starts piecing him up, basically giving him that 10-piece combo. Oh man, he ripped him off. 10-piece combo, no biscuit, man, no honey mustard, not even some freaking ranch or ketchup. Just instantly gave this man some dry food, and he didn't even care. Dry food, no drink either. Just paid $10 for a crispy chicken nugget meal. All right, I'm gonna stop now. God damn, I'm starting to get hungry. Okay, Lord. So Deku does end up defeating Todoroki. And Endeavor hates it like normal. Yada, yada, yada. All that shit. And now, for the next fight is Deku versus Ida. Here we go. As Ida rushes up to Deku, Deku sees how fast Ida is, but he maneuvers under Ida's leg. He sweeps his other leg to basically knock Ida in the air. And Deku does a spinning roundhouse kick to kick Ida out of bounds, because now Ida has no control to get himself right back into the ring, and Ida just lost. Now it's Deku versus Bakugo in this situation. Now Bakugo is getting mad at Deku because he thought he lied to him this whole years, but Deku doesn't really care about what Bakugo's saying. Begin! Bakugo rushes with the explosion, and he does maneuver around Deku, but Deku is a fighting genius. He's trained with the no moves and those deadly things, so he knows exactly what to do to be able to stop him. And keep in mind, he's also trained with Gigantomachia before, so Deku ain't no pushover when it comes to fighting. So this is actually a pretty good fight here. Bakugo sends explosions, Deku does dodge, Deku sends air blast, pushes Bakugo away, but uses that momentum of Bakugo being pushed back to actually get some combos onto him. And Bakugo actually can't hit Deku, he's just dodging and like easily maneuvering out of the way. Slow, sloppy, unfocused, uncoordinated. Just one elbow to the head, and Bakugo's like getting disoriented. But Deku decides to end it now. Texas Smash! As he punches like the air, but it kind of destroys the whole stadium and puts Bakugo out of the ring, crowning Deku the winner of the sports festival. I mean, Deku still chooses the hero name, Deku chooses the hero name All for All. Like, why do you do that? Because I'm going to be using all of my power for everyone's sake. Ah, okay, good name. Woo! But that, guys, is where we're going to be ending off on Villain Deku, All for One AU. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this, because if I had to post Hero All for One AU, I got to post Villain of All for One AU, because the two are parallel. They're parallel. I got to put them together. Had to do it in one day. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Go on my community post to see what gameplay you guys want me to do, because it's there. It's there for the week, so that way you guys can just have fun with this. So with that being said, guys, y'all know what it is. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Peace!
She likes it when I hit, when I tap. Wait, what? Ay, shawty's the same, not without me, she ain't function. Running out the game, I don't got no time for love. Shawty, stick to your lane, I don't wanna hear you bugging. Yo,